Hello guys, welcome back to my channel. Welcome to a new video, and you guys can tell from the title below, we're gonna be doing my March wrap-up video. As you guys can hear, I'm sick. I have the flu. I also have a sore throat right now, which is why this March wrap-up is very late. I have been putting off filming this, but I figured that since today is the first day that I actually feel a lot better, I think I can start talking for a very long period of time. I'm just gonna film this today. And also I've been itching to put back my books, so we're just gonna film it today. I am going to take breaks though, because I don't think I can continue talking for a very long period of time. With that being said, let's just head into my books. Again, apologies for sounding like a broken truck or like a duck or just very congested, because I am currently feeling very congested. I just want to get this wrap up over with so that I can get it uploaded and show you guys the 14 books that I read this month. I didn't read a lot of books for my TBR. Unfortunately, that did not happen. I was just wrapped up in reading a series that completely consumed my entire March. Let's get on with the books. I read a lot of Kindle books this month, so I only have 7 physical books to talk about. The first book of March is a KU read, and it is City of Gods and Monsters by Kayla Edwards. Some of these books I have reading vlogs on, so I won't talk too much about this because I did have a reading vlog on this. It is an urban fantasy world, and you're following Lauren. She's a human living in a world that is infested with like angel monsters, vampires, werewolves, all of those things. There's lots of mythical creatures in this. It's very difficult to survive in this world as a human, so unfortunately she is constantly in danger, but she has 2 close friends who keep her in check. And one day when they were out clubbing and partying the night away, they ended up having to walk home in the dark, and some mysterious people want to capture Lauren. However, her friend ended up getting captured, and then she asked the help of a dark slayer called Darien Castle to help save her friend. The world is very vast, so it's very hard to explain what the plot is. You just have to read as you go. It gets really interesting, and it is my first 5-star read of March. I love this book. I cried twice reading this book. I also felt like the storyline and the plot moved so quickly, and I couldn't put this book down, and it was not boring at all. And I felt like the world was so interesting, and I wanted to get to know more about the world, about these people, about these creatures. There are some creatures that I have never really heard talked about. I loved the romance. It was super slow burn. There was a lot of simmering tension, and when they first met each other, there was not a lot of lusty or physical attraction whatsoever. They really got to know each other and then started liking each other, and I really liked seeing the growth. The romance was so freaking good. The yearning and the push and pull and the angstiness and moodiness of Darien Castle RMC, so good. I loved reading about these characters and the way they fit so well. Lauren was just very sweet and very selfless, while Darien was very angsty and very moody and hates himself a lot. But then you meet somebody like Lauren who just loves a lot for the people around her, and it just fits so well, and I loved their relationship so much, and I'm so excited to pick up the second book. I did buy the physical copy of these books, so I'm waiting to get them in order to read them because I would love to annotate these books. I am invested in this world. I love these characters. The next book I read is Rebel Witch by Kristen Sicarelli. I do have a reading vlog on this as well, so if you guys want to see my like live reactions and stuff, please watch that video. It's a lot more interesting than this wrap up. But this is the second book in the Crimson Moth duology. The first book is Heartless Hunter, and in this whole duology you're following a witch and a witch hunter. You're living in a world where witches are being hunted down and killed, and Rune is a vigilante witch who saves other witches. She smuggles them out of the city she lives in. She is called the Crimson Moth. Our witch hunter is Gideon, and he is like the captain of the witch hunters, I think, and he is currently hunting down the Crimson Moth. So these two play a little game of cat and mouse because the both of them need things from each other. Rune needs something from Gideon, and Gideon wants to capture Rune. This book I rated 3.5 stars. I didn't enjoy this as much as Heartless Hunter. I felt like this book had a lot of miscommunication involved, and the romance was very mild. It was tense, and I do love them together. I think their chemistry was on point, but I did feel like everything was very mellowed down in terms of the romance for some reason. And also I just felt like things happened way too predictably and way too easily for them to get together. I did enjoy the duology overall, but I don't think it's one of my favorites. and this book was not as good as the first one. I read another Kindle book next. It's A Blood and Steel by Helen Schur. This is the first book in the Legends of Thesbar series. I'm going to talk about this whole series together because I did read the second book as well. I read that in a reading vlog, 24-hour readathon reading vlog. The first book is Blood and Steel. Second book is Vows and Ruins. It's a quartet, by the way. There are 4 books. And the first book I rated 3.5 stars. The second book I rated 2 stars. So let's talk about the plot. In Blood and Steel, you are following Thea. Is her name Althea? And she lives in a world where women are not allowed to become warriors. They're not allowed to train, not allowed to become stronger because of a prophecy that says that if women trains or something like that, some darkness is gonna come. Only men are allowed to train, but Thea really wants to become a warrior, and so she trains in secret. One day she ends up getting caught, and she somehow is allowed to enter the training to become a warrior of Thesmar, a war sword of Thesmar. You just follow the journey. She goes under an apprenticeship with the war sword called, I forgot his name, Wilder Hawthorne, that's his name. This book was a really good start to a series. I did like how the romance was built up, and I did like how this was very unique of a fantasy world. I haven't really seen much that was like this. Did enjoy my reading experience. It flew very fast, even though it was a pretty thick book. And I did like both characters. I like Thea a lot. I think that she's very headstrong. She knew what she wanted to do, and she was dead set on getting her goals met. I didn't love Wilder as much, but I did like the both of them together. Things did get predictable, but I am excited to get to know more with this book, so I picked up the second one. I didn't like this one because this book was just basically lots and lots of spice. It was a very spicy book. There was a lot of spice scenes, and the thing is, I love a spicy book. I am all for spicy books, but when it comes to a book that doesn't have plot and just has spice, I don't like it. There needs to be a reason why the spice exists, but in Vows and Ruins, there was no reason for them to be boning each other every single time. They're in the middle of war, they're boning each other. They're post-war, they're boning each other. I didn't like Vows and Ruins. It was a 2-star read because the ending of this book completely threw me off. I really liked the plot twist, so I rated it 2 stars, but I am excited to get to the third book of this series, which I will get to very, very soon. We're moving on to books I read in the 24-hour readathon. I read 4 or 5. I feel like I look like Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer because I feel like my nose is really red. Moving on to physical books that I read in my 24-hour readathon. The first one is The Charlie Method by Elle Kennedy. This is the last book of the Campus Diaries series, I think. The first one is The Grimm Effect. The second one is The Dixon Rule. This is the third book, the last one. This is a Why Choose romance. You're following 2 males, 1 female. Basically, you're following Charlie. Charlie lives in a family with overachieving kids, and she's the adopted daughter of this family, so she feels a lot of pressure to be good and to do good to this family. In reality, she's actually somebody who loves to take risks, loves to try new things, and she ends up going on this app where you can match with people to like sext, I think. I don't really know what this app is for anyway. She meets Beckett and Will on this app. They end up really liking each other in that kind of relationship, and they realize that they're actually from the same school. They meet up, they get into this arrangement. I really liked that there was a difference between the 2 relationships, Beckett and Charlie and Will and Charlie. They both had their own respective dynamic, and I really liked seeing the dynamic grow. I also like that when the 3 of them were together, it didn't feel like one of the males were like better than the other. So I did like this relationship. I did, however, think that the ending, when it comes to how they got together, I have to say it's a little bit not conventional and a little bit out of pocket, but I do understand where things are coming from. I did like Charlie's character. I think the things that she's struggling with and her worries of being adopted and not really doing good to the family and stuff. And I really like that Elle Kennedy focuses a lot on her character growth and individual growth. I also really like that both Will and Beckett also had problems of themselves, and they focused on growing to be better, become a better partner to Charlie and all of that. So I did like the characters and how they grew. Yeah, this book was a 4 stars. I just didn't like the ending, I think, so that's why it's a 4 stars. Give me a sec. Let me like top up my lipstick. Every time I blow my nose, I also remove my lipstick for some reason. Also, the reason why I like this book is because there is a plot twist. Something happened that I felt like was a plot twist in a romance book. That was really, really good. There is a character in this book that potentially will be a main character in another series of hers, I think. So I'm excited for that one. Next book I read in that reading vlog is Good Boy. This is also by Elle Kennedy. It was not Not Planned, and Serena Bowen. And this one is a part of the WAG novel. It was released actually a really long time ago, I think in 2021. This is a spin-off novel of the Him Us series. I did not read that one. This is about Jess Canning. I don't remember the main characters' names, by the way. And she is planning her brother's wedding and she needs to make it perfect, and she somehow needs to make sure that she's not going to get into a relationship with the best man of the wedding, who's called Blake Riley, and Blake basically really likes Jess and wants to convince Jess to date him. That's the whole gist of it. This book was so out of pocket and I did not like it. It was a 2-star read because for some reason I felt like both main characters deserved each other and that there is some sort of chemistry. But what I didn't like about this was the writing. I don't know, is it because there's a lot of pop culture references, or if it's because there's a lot of words that were shortened. There were a lot of weird nicknames, which there's one thing I do not like. It's a micro trope, and it's basically when our characters will name their private parts, okay? Blake Riley, our MMC, names his private part Blake Snake. It icked me off. This was very cringy. 2 stars. I read another romance in that reading vlog. I read Lost and Lassoed by Lila Sage. This is the 3rd book in the Rebel Blue Ranch series, and I did enjoy this one. This is a 4-star read. This is a cowboy small town romance, and you're following Teddy and Gus. This is also a single dad nanny romance. Do you guys remember what book has single dad and nanny? And it's my favorite. Heartless by Elsie Silver, the Chester Springs series. Wow, that book, favorite of mine. So I got into this with very high hopes, and I kind of did enjoy this a lot. I did like Teddy and Gus. I did like their relationship. I liked that in this book compared to the first 2 books of this series. I did like that there was a lot of focus on individual growth and their problems, which I didn't find in the first 2 books. However, one thing I found lacking was surprisingly the romance. I wanted more scenes with the 2 of them together. I wanted more scenes of them getting to know each other. I wanted more of them, and I felt like I was not getting much of them. I did love their relationship. I did like how they got together. I loved the way they grew to really love Gus's daughter, but also just like how his daughter really connected the both of them together. I just loved the dynamic, but then I wanted more and I wasn't given more. In this book in particular, I wanted more pages. This was too short of a book for me, which is why it's 4 stars. Because if I had more, I feel like I would have rated this higher. I just wanted more romance, you guys. I did like that there was a lot of found family. Not really found family because they are a family, but I really like how there was a lot of familial love in this book. I just want more. So that's Lost and Lassoed. Hopefully the last book of the series is going to be epic because I have a feeling I'm going to like it. The last book I read in that reading vlog is A Sea of Unspoken Things by Adrienne Young. This is Adrienne Young's most recent adult release. It is actually in my opinion at least, is a mystery thriller. Not really a romance, not really magical realism, not really literary fiction, more like a mystery. You're following, I forgot her name, James I think is her name. Oh, I'm correct. As she goes back to the small town that she has lived in all her life to figure out why her brother passed away. She is thinking that it might be a murder. She has always been connected with her brother all her life, and she has always felt like she understood him the most. She didn't meet people from her past, and things happened in the past with her and like her friends and the guy that she was seeing. It was really fast-paced. I thought the first like 70 to 90 pages was kind of slow, just a little bit, but then after that I flew through the book, couldn't put it down. I wanted to know what's going to happen. I wanted to know what was happening. I wanted to know why her twin brother passed away. The atmosphere, the eeriness of this whole world was done so well. Adrienne Young just creates such a beautiful setting, and I think that's the winning part of her books. You can really vividly imagine the town. But this book is a 3.5-star read because I felt like there was something lacking, especially with James and Micah. Is his name Micah? Micah is technically our male lead, but really doesn't appear that much. I felt like there was a lack of romance between the 2 of them, but also I felt like there was not much depth with Micah's character. He felt like a background character instead of the male lead because he does play a big role in like Johnny, the twin brother's life. Also, the mystery plotline was kind of predictable. I did like how we got to that point because it was still very heart-pounding, still very mysterious overall. I didn't know what was going to happen though, but I do love Adrienne Young's writing, so 3.5 stars. I did enjoy this. We're back to Kindle Reads, I am going to talk about these 3 books together because they're part of a series that has now consumed my entire life. It is the Zodiac Academy series. I'm in the world. I can't backtrack anymore. So I read the first 3 books of the Zodiac Academy series. This whole world, the Solaria world, is a very long series. ZA1, 2, 3. ZA1 is The Awakening, ZA2 is Ruthless, and ZA3 is The Reckoning. So in ZA1, you are following Tori and Darcy, and both of them are twins. They have been living in the human world all their lives. They are orphans and they're poor, and they're trying to survive in this world. One day, a guy called Orion comes in suddenly and tells them that they're the long-lost princesses of the Fae realm. In order to protect them, they became a changeling, so they were changed with like a human sacrifice or something like that. And now, because they're turning 18, they are called back to the Fae world in order to reclaim their throne and to awaken their powers. Tori and Darcy goes to the Fae world, meets four guys. These 4 guys end up bullying them in the school because they are the sons of the council. I forgot what it's called. They're the ones that are supposed to take over the throne. Tori and Darcy were hidden in the human world. Their parents were killed, and if they come back, they're supposed to take over the throne. But these 4 guys don't want these 2 girls to take over their throne. This first book is a bully romance. For most of the plot, it's just the 4 guys bullying these 2 girls who don't really know what's happening in their lives. Okay, I had to take a short break, but we're back. I think you have to get into this first book knowing that this will be a very cringy, toxic, cliche, cliquey, chick flick type of TV show. Teen Wolf, all of those things. It's very dramatic. It's supposed to be like that. It's supposed to kind of make you not really like the characters, but then also really want to continue with the story because it's addicting. Before I even know it, I'm done with this book. I rated this 3 stars because I personally am not a fan of bully romance. I just continued on because I wanted to know why people love this book and why people are obsessed with it and how much it can get better. And I'm telling you, the moment I stopped reading this first book and picked up the second one, I was invested. I really started liking the series the moment I read the second book, which is Ruthless. You get to see a lot of like funny moments, and you also see a lot of relationships get formed as well as strengthened. So I did really like Ruthless. Ruthless was a 4.5 star read. I loved the ending, and also because this book there was like a little slow burn simmering romance between 2 of our characters. I absolutely loved this. It was so freaking good. Super props to the romance, honestly, because I did not like these characters in the beginning, but then oh my goodness, I started loving them immediately in the second book, and I wanted to get to know more. You also get to see a lot of character depth, and you also start to understand a lot of these boys' vices and why they acted this way. It's just so freaking fun. And then you get into the third book, The Reckoning. This book was a roller coaster ride. This book was also a 5-star read. This like solidified ZA as one of my favorite series because the romance, I didn't like these 2 male characters in the beginning, but then the romance, I was giggling, I was laughing, I was kicking my feet. It was so good. I could not put this book down. I read The Reckoning so quickly for such a thick book, and I was just so much in love with the world. The plot got so much better. You started to really see the depths of this plot and how much the authors just tried to build a very complex world. Everything is connected, it's very intricate. There are plot twists in this, and then there is the romance that I just absolutely loved. It was so good. It was a lot of yearning and like a lot of pining. Chemistry was amazing. Just everything about this series was amazing, so I was really excited to continue on to read the 4th book. However, I had stopped reading Zodiac Academy and jump into a different series called The Ruthless Boys of the Zodiac, which is a 5-book series following Elise Callisto, who's a vampire, and 4 male characters. It's a why choose reverse harem, 4 guys, 1 girl. The first book is called Dark Fae, and this one takes place 5 years before Tori and Darcy enter Zodiac Academy. Oh yeah, that is also the last book I read in this month, but I'm just gonna talk about it together. And in this series, Elise wants to figure out who killed her brother, who goes to Aurora Academy. She meets these 4 male characters. They are the kings of this academy. She got a little insight that says that these kings, one of them were the ones who killed her brother. That is Dark Fae. I did not like this one. I was so sad to get out of the ZA world and enter this RB world that I did not enjoy this book. It was a 2-star read. I only enjoyed it because I felt like, again, it was very dramatized and like very out of pocket, but also was very fun. I felt like this book had a lot of unnecessary plot lines and unnecessary characters. I did end up reading the entire series, which is going to be in my April wrap-up instead. Dark Fae, did not really enjoy, but I had to read it for the sake of ZA, so yeah. We're down to 2 books. Both are physical books. Oh gosh. Sorry, Peanut. I read Furysong by Rosario Munda. This is the last book of the Aurelian Cycle trilogy. This whole trilogy, you're following Annie and Lee. They're both dragon riders in this new regime, and they are trying to compete to become the first rider of the dragon riders, basically like the captain. And there's a political situation where someone is trying to overthrow the current regime that they're living in, and it just sends a whole situation to our 2 characters who have differing opinions and differing values and also differing old lifestyles. Mostly fantasy and not a lot of romance. I did enjoy the first 2 books. They were both 4-star reads. So I got into this kind of hoping that it will be a banger of an ending of a trilogy. And in the beginning, I did have high hopes. I did enjoy my reading experience. It was kind of slow, but I think that there was a need for the build-up to happen. However, this book ended up being a 3-star read. I did like the politics. I did like our characters and how morally gray everyone is. And I also felt like there was a lot of politics that was very fun. And there was also like plot twists and things happening that I didn't expect. But something that happened in this book that I felt was unnecessary, that wasn't needed. And I did talk about this in my reading vlog. However, it is a minor spoiler, so I'm not going to talk about it in this wrap-up. If you guys want to hear about it, however, and you don't really care too much about the series or you have read it, then you can watch my reading vlog and like watch that spoilery segment. I'm not going to talk about it, but I basically did not like it. That was like one of the ending portions of this book. So this ended up being a 3-star read. There was not a lot of romance too. If you want to talk about percentages, I think probably only 10% of romance. So last book, sorry about that, I had to change the batteries, but last book to talk about, Wild Side by Elsie Silver. This is the 3rd book in the Rose Hill Ranch series, and you're following Tabitha and Reese. Anyway, this is a marriage of convenience trope. Basically, Reese has to get married to Tabitha, and Tabitha has to get married to Reese because of a certain situation that occurred involving Tabitha's sister and her son. I rated this book 3.5 stars. I didn't enjoy this book as much as I thought I would. I mainly felt like I couldn't really connect to both Tabitha and Reese as a character. I did really like both of them separately. I think Reese was a very silent but kind type of person, and then Tabitha was just very strong-minded and knew what she wanted. I did think the romance was cute. The chemistry they had was cute. It was very slow burn. I think I was mostly icked out by Reese's career, which is very weird because I don't usually care too much about careers and characters, but I think I was icked out by the career, which Reese is a wrestler, but I don't really know what type of wrestler. He kind of does like acting wrestling. I don't know, maybe it's a thing in the US, but I've never really like read or watched anything like this before. There were some scenes of him that I was personally a little bit cringed out by, so maybe that really threw me off. I still feel like the 2nd book of this whole series is my favorite. I'm hoping the last book will be a favorite because it is so spicy. Even the plot is spicy. The last book is Ex-Boyfriend's Dad. And let me tell you guys, I read a book in April this month that is Ex-Boyfriend's Dad. It's not the 4th book. It's something else. That book was like surprisingly really good. So, and I do love Elsie Silver's writing. I always will love the world she has built and the connections and the relationships, but this one, Reese's career, was my main problem. So yeah, that's Wild Side, and that is the end of this video. Oh my gosh, I'm so sorry if you guys are annoyed by how congested I sound, because I feel like I'm getting even more congested as we go on. This is very rare, okay? I will probably not be sounding like this in other videos. Hopefully, at least. I don't, you know what? I will never know. Don't forget to like and subscribe if you guys enjoyed watching this, and don't forget to comment down below what other videos you guys want to see from me, or what books you guys want me to read. All of those things. I will go now. I will see you guys in the next video. Bye!